And then, yeah, you could just hold that down there.
Hmm.
It's like a soccer game. You have to kick the ball to the...
Right. So when we answer, should we look at you? So that way we're not looking at the camera? Or is it like, yeah, right? As like some type of reference? Okay. The question was, how long?
So like, introduce your name and then where you're...
Oh, you gotta do that again then.
This way. There you go. There you go.
Just like 60 minutes?
Yes. Exactly.
I'm Barbara Walters, where your son is.
So, cool.
I deny it.
Yeah,
I'll start.
Yeah.
Okay, hi, my name is Joe. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, grew up in East New York, Brooklyn, and lived in New York my entire life. This is my son Ryan, my only child. Take it away.
Hey, my name's Ryan. I don't know, it's hard to say exactly where, because we moved around a little bit, but I was born in Rockville Center, Long Island, raised for a time in Brooklyn, raised for a time in upstate New York, and now reside in Astoria. He also lives in Astoria. We're right down the block from each other. Yeah.
I was born in Jamaica, West Indies. That's the island. Of course, not Jamaica, New York. We first moved to Crown Heights in the 70s, 1975.
I was born in New York. I was born in Brooklyn, Coney Island Hospital. And I've been in New York for 21 years of my life until I moved to Jersey when I got married.
What was it like being raised by your dad, specifically when you were a teenager, 13 to 19?
Nah. I mean, it was cool. Those years were very fundamental in our relationship because we used to train a lot. So we used to train Muay Thai. Every day after school, I would go to the boxing gym. And he would be there, and we'd train, and after we trained for about 2 hours, we'd go to his house, and he would cook, and then we'd watch like a movie, like any like bootleg movie. He was like king of bootleg movies.
It was the time.
King of bootleg movies.
I mean, listen.
So we were always, yeah. And then after that, he'll take me home to my mom's. I remember, I'm talking about after school, but there's like a whole day, basically. So essentially, like, there would be some days when he'll drive me to the bus in Bay Ridge. So I went to school in Staten Island. I live in Brooklyn, go to school in Staten Island. So it's about 2 hours away every day for 4 years. So he would come to get me in Sheepshead Bay. Early, yeah. He'll come to get me in Sheepshead Bay to then drive me to Bay Ridge, which is 30 minutes from Sheepshead Bay. But mind you, if it wasn't for him taking me, I would be taking a bus. So I'll take 4 buses to school every day.
A challenge.
Yeah, I was kind of a dicky teenager, I'll say for sure. You know, I had my problems. I wasn't the best in school. You know, and I also was a little bit lazy and a little bit preoccupied with like other things in life. You know, I generally think I was a good kid, but I was just like, you know, I was the normal teenager, grumpy and didn't want to, you know, do his homework, didn't want to clean his room. But I generally wasn't really defiant or like
No, not at all.
really bad or anything like that. Yeah.
Well, when he was a teenager, we lived up in Orange County, and I commuted like 4 hours every day to go to work. So the only time I would really see him was at night or on weekends. And that time that I would spend with him on those days was just, you know, typical, you know, dad take me to the park and go for walks and stuff like that and run down the block and all that.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was pretty easy, no trouble at all, basically.
Yeah. I would say that.
He's more trouble now than he was then.
True. Similar thing. Yeah.
Most of his upbringing was pretty much spent with his mother.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like living in Orange County, 4 hours, you know, a day just to travel.
Yeah.
That was like that was rough. I was talking to him about something before we came up here. When he was about 4 or 5 years old, he was on a little league football team with the whole outfit, helmets, pads, everything, spike shoes. And one of the first games he was in, he came running to me crying. He says, "I don't like this, they keep hitting me." I said, "Well, that's football." and that was it, he played one day.
Yeah.
And then after that, we found him to put him into a baseball, a little league baseball. And he did pretty good in that.
Yeah.
So, you know, and a lot of fond memories I have is just he and I walking down the street holding hands, and when we lived in Bay Ridge, just going for a walk and saying hi to people as we walked by.
Very
It was like so peaceful, and it felt like so right to be a father and have a son. And you know, I was the proudest thing in the world. Just walking down the street, going to the corner store, you know, candy store and stuff like that. So those memories I love. Those are great memories. So, and especially when we lived in Bay Ridge. We had beautiful neighbors. It was a great neighborhood. It was actually around the corner from where his mother grew up as a child. So there was like always that karma and that connection in Brooklyn. And those were really fond memories, because not only of him, my wife, our neighbors, even our landlord was just like family. It was just a beautiful time in our life.
Yeah.
And it's something that I really cherish and appreciate, you know.
You're 13.
Goddamn.
Well, seeing that he was the youngest, and he had a lot of older brothers and older cousins, he didn't do things that younger kids did. He was just always ahead of his time. He was fast. You know, he was a fast ass. Always had to watch him. He would always like the last one in the back, but just to slip away. You know what I mean? That dip. So always try like get in the front. But other than that, I mean, he was a good kid. He was a good kid, you know. He was at well, fitness is big for me, right? So he went through a few stages. He was a little chubby kid he had a little chubby stage from at one point, and then he went through the skinny boy jeans stage. I always worked out, so you know, working out was a big thing to me. He didn't want to gain that muscle as far as working out during the skinny boy stages. So he but he's a figure.
Proper timing.
He's a beast now, though.
It was like proper timing.
He was in the gym. We were doing Muay Thai, a lot of conditioning, which was good for him growing up. You know, and strong kid, because we were in the gym sparring. He was in the gym sparring grown men at 15. You know, they never knew that he was 15. They never knew I was his dad until we got into conditioning one day, and he was like, "Yo, Dad." A kid looked at him like, "That's your dad?"
Everybody head turned.
And you guys fight like that? You know, but yeah.
Yeah, that was
cool.
dope.
Was there ever like a competitive edge, like, oh, I'm gonna try to beat him one day?
What?
Yo.
Yes.
That's a good question.
Yes.
Yo, he really tried to beat my ass in the
Yes.
gym.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of
Yeah.
times, seriously.
So in Muay Thai days, when we would train together, he had this push kick.
I still have
And
it.
he still has it. Honestly, it's the most annoying thing you can experience.
Is it the teeth?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when you push your opponent away from you with your foot. But like his is super quick, super like witty.
Yeah, and I would do it after
he
a
would-
1-2.
Yeah.
You think the 2 is coming, it'll be my...
In
your
fighting,
face, you know?
you're always trying to like predict what the opponent is gonna do next. He had the same style. He had the same combinations. There wasn't much like flair and mixiness, but the timing was always just right, and he would always catch you with the kick. So that would piss me off, and it would always piss me off because he has a lot of weight. So keep in mind, I'm 15, 16, and he was still like 2-something. He was
Yeah,
still,
when I actually started Muay Thai, I was like 250.
yeah. So that it's all that. So the push kick generating. So you're already generating power from the leg that's still standing, and then your hips drive the foot that's pushing the opponent. So yeah, it was a lot of like he was getting me a lot with those, and it would get me upset. Yeah. So I feel like the real competitive like part didn't really start too much until I started lifting, because then I was asking him, "What's your PR for bench? What's your PR for squat? What's your PR for deadlift?" I was like, "Okay, now I want to work towards that." I hit it, and I pretty much stopped. So there was a time, remember, I was like sending you updates on my deadlifts like quite often. He told me, I think it was like 5'10", 505, yours?
Yeah.
And I ended up doing 515 for 2. Not back to back, just like 1 and then 1. And I was like, okay, now I feel like good. In that sense.
What do you mean feel good? Like what?
I beat you. I got 10 up. I got 10 pounds on you.
Okay.
What you mean?
Okay. All right. First of all, I haven't stopped deadlifting. Okay.
So what? So what do you say?
And anytime you want to
you
do
want to
this, we
start
can
up a
do it.
deadlift competition?
What?
Do you?
Come on. I'm a veteran, kid.
when you can like visually see that like things start to click, like for Ryan, like the things that you were like raising him to become?
Probably like in his late 30s.
Great. Took a long time. Took a
Yeah.
long time. You know.
He's a typical millennial. You know, they're 10 to 15 years behind where we were, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, when I was 20, I already spent 2 years in the Army overseas. And when he was 20, it was like he was still 15. You know, haven't gone anywhere, done anything, you know. By the time I was in my 30s, that was pretty much somebody who was really deeply experienced in life. As opposed to millennials today, they're in their 30s, they're still kind of like in their 20-ish, you know. They're still trying to, you know, figure things out. Where back in my day, at 30 years old, it was already figured out. And that was it, you know.
We're better looking now, though, in our 30s.
Well, people get old. Look at me. I used to be good looking. Not anymore.
I still say you look good.
Yeah. 74 years old. Looks pretty good to me. So I hope I look that good. He says he's
Possible.
going to die next week, every fucking week. But I still see him here for another, like, 10 years, which he rolls his eyes about. But,
I'm like Sanford and Son. Jenny, I'm coming. I'm coming.
yeah.
I'm coming now. I'm on my way.
Yeah. But he...
Well, when you first decided when you first decided to get married, when you said you was gonna get married, I'm like, oof, that was kind of big.
Yeah.
You know, but I was gonna let you do your thing. I mean,
Yeah.
because you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna stop you from doing that.
Yeah.
You know, but that was kind of the first indication, and then the follow up, as far as like you said, just started making moves, doing different things.
Yeah.
You know, you progressed. You know, because I mean, you're young. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, man comes with experience. You know, you can always call yourself a man, but it takes
That whole
experience.
time,
You know,
that whole time in my life was like super fun. Like our relationship was like super, I wouldn't say funny, but like his reaction and things like that were like things I just didn't forget. It's like, yo, you sure you want to, like, are you feeling pressured to marry this woman? Like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because he looking at age, and rightfully so. Like, he's like, yo, you're really young. Like, do you know what you're signing up for?
yeah, because I know at his age, getting married was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
Did you decide to have kids, or like what made you feel like you were ready to be a dad?
What made me decide to tell you the truth?
He's Jamaican,
Yeah,
man. He
yeah.
ain't real
I'm
ready.
from an era where
He
we
was
don't
just-
plan. You know, we don't plan. Let us plan it. You know, I mean, I wasn't irresponsible because, you know, I actually started having kids at a late age. You know, I just got it in real quick, you know? No, for real. Have 4 kids within what, 3 years? Actually, you know, I enjoy it more now just to see where they are right now in life. You know what I mean? I can actually go places with them, you know, enjoy their company. I enjoy their company. You know, when I want to spend much time with me, but I enjoy their company.
Buy food, buy
Huh?
that.
You know,
Stop paying back.
yeah, I enjoy their company.
How has your respect for your father changed over time? And you could pick any like time.
Oh, I mean, I could just do the whole timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, he was my, what's it called, like, like he was my picturesque for like a father and stuff like that. He did everything he could for me. And then in my teen years when I was like figuring, because like I don't remember a lot of like when I was a baby child, but like I remember during my teen years, if I would have walked up and said, I want to be, you know, an astronomer, he'd buy me a telescope. I wanted to be a cartoonist, he'd buy me, you know, a drawing tab. And even today, you know, I wanted to open up a studio, he helped me on that. So he's always been extremely helpful with anything I've ever wanted to do. There's father figures that would be like, you know, wouldn't be supportive of any sort of decisions in a person's life. And he was supportive of everything I ever wanted to do. And you don't find that in a lot of, you know, father-son relationships nowadays. But, you know, I saw him as a person that just like I could go to with anything and he would be there to support and have my back and stuff. And even now, like, you know, as I grow into an adult and open up a business and have challenges with work, he's always on my side. It's always on my side. And I couldn't ask for more for that. So even now, like just doing what I did in the past few months, he's been more excited about it than I have. You know, and I mean, I'm excited about this whole place and everything, but he's always like my number one cheerleader and stuff, and that's something that I will take into when I have kids. Is something I will take into that life too. Is I will be their number one supporter, and be there to help them with anything they want, whether they want to be a firefighter or a football player or, you know, whatever. I'll be there to support them no matter what they are, gender, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I've had someone show me that to be a good father is just being there, supporting, and you know, having some humility and being able to help with the big and small things. So.
Well, if I could just jump in one thing, a lot of my motivation for being supportive and helpful to him is because his mother was so dedicated to him as they grew up. And when she passed away, he was still fairly young. And in my heart, I said, I got to take care of this kid for her because that's the way she would want it. So
Yeah. And
a lot of my motivation is my dedication to his mother.
It's a little bit easier for me to like express certain things to him, and that didn't just come out of nowhere. Like I'm in therapy and I'm like working through that and being able to like see what I needed as a kid, see what I need now, and see what I didn't get from him or things that I did get from him, because you know it's not all bad. In terms of respect, like I grew more respect, right? So like there's times where, especially when it comes to like when it's like raising my son, making sure education and fitness is like a key thing in his life, and making sure like to prioritize that, but as well as just like our relationship, what it means to be active together, what it means to talk together, and not just talk, but like I'm talking to him about like real life things, like, you know, like how you feeling, like what do you like, did this make you upset, like I'm can't like catering and tailoring more to that, just so that when we get to this age, like I don't have to wait till Caleb's 20 years old to have like an actual heart-to-heart with him, where in our case I had to wait that long, you know what I'm saying? So like, and I'd say it's a bad thing, but a lot of things could be different. A lot of decisions I made could have been different if I had, let's say, that conversation with my pops or that kind of support from my pops at like 16, 15. But overall, blessed.
Well, I didn't take much from my dad because my father died at a very young age, and I was pretty much raised by my mother and my grandmother. So I was raised by women who were completely different from men. Believe me, they have a whole different outlook on the world.
Don't say.
And I guess a lot of it was passed down to me by my grandmother.
Grandma Rose.
My grandma, yeah, my mother's mother, who was very, very simple woman, very easy to please, very easy to get along with, and was always the kindest person I ever met in my entire life. And whenever I had a problem, I would run to her, and she would make things okay. So I guess that kind of like filtered down into me, like towards him, where if he had a problem, I would, you know, try to treat him the way I was treated, with understanding and help and that kind of stuff. There was never any kind of dramatics when I grew up as a child. I had a great childhood, a wonderful childhood. Even though my father died when he was very young, my mother, my grandfather, my uncles and all, at that time, family was very close.
What do you like doing with Grandpa?
I don't know.
You don't know yet?
Like taking my money.
No, you give the money to me.
Oh, all right. You don't refuse it.
Take money for your piggy bank.
So,
Who, George Carlin?
yeah,
If you believe in the American dream, you're dreaming.
there it is. There it is.
He was awesome. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, aced it. Done. Wow.
Good.